Welcome everyone to another very special Live 45 live right here on the International College of Dentists USA Section Facebook page. I am Dr. Amrita Patel. I'm your USA Section Fellow Ambassador of Social Media, and we are so excited tonight to have with us the President and Executive Director from the American Dental Association, Dr. Cesar Sabates and Dr. Raymond Cohlmia. I'd like to remind everyone that although we are streaming live right now, that this will be archived on our Facebook page. So if you happen to be watching along with us now, go ahead and let us know you're watching, say hi, and if you have a question or a comment, leave that, and we do try to address those during our interview. We also try to get to as many questions as we can at the end, so make sure to ask all of those, again, right in the comment section. We're going to talk all about our very exciting guests now. Thank you both for being with us. Dr. Cesar Sabates is our president of the American Dental Association. He is a general dentist in Coral Gables, Florida. From 2016 to 2020, Dr. Sabates served as the 17th district trustee to the ADA Board of Trustees and was a delegate in the House of Delegates from 2000 to 2016. Dr. Sabates was the president of the Florida Dental Association and the South Florida District Dental Association. Over the course of his career, Dr. Sabates has earned a number of fellowships from prominent organizations, including the International College of Dentists, our very own, the American College of Dentists, and the Pierre Fauchard Academy. In addition to the ADA, Dr. Sabates is a member of the Academy of General Dentistry and the Hispanic Dental Association. Dr. Sabates is the founding president of the Dental Lifeline Network in Florida. Among the many awards received for his dedicated service, he was the 2021 recipient of the Florida Dental Association's J. Leon Schwartz Lifetime Achievement Award, the FDA's President's Choice Award in 2018, South Florida District Dental Association Service and Leadership Award in 2018, the University of Missouri Kansas City School of Dentistry Alumnus of the Year in 2016, the FDA Special Recognition Award of 2014, the Hispanic Dental Association Award for his continued commitment to oral health in 2012, the ADA Presidential Citation in 2012, Dentist of the Year, South Florida District Dental Association in 2003, and Dentist of the Day from the Florida House of Representatives in April of 1997. Dr. Sabates earned his dental degree and certificate in advanced education in general dentistry from the University of Missouri Kansas City School of Dentistry and has an undergraduate degree in electrical engineering from the University of Miami. Dr. Sabates maintains a private practice in general dentistry in Coral Gables, Florida. He and his wife, Lydia, reside in Miami and have two children, Albert and Cesar III, and a grandson, Bruce. Welcome, Dr. Sabates.
Thank you, Dr. Patel.
And now we have Dr. Ray Cohlmia, who is our executive director of the American Dental Association, the nation's leading advocate for oral health. Dr. Cohlmia graduated in 1988 from the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry. He was in private practice for 26 years prior to becoming full-time faculty at the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, where he served as their dean for 7 years prior to his appointment at the ADA. Dr. Cohlmia has served many capacities in the local, state, and national level for the association. He most recently served from 2015 to 2019 as his district's trustee and was elected to the board of the American Dental Association's Science and Research Institute, where he served as their founding chair. He is known nationally for his leadership in the association and in dental education. His innovative model of clinical care delivery in the college has led many dental institutions to adapt this new model of patient care. He is very active in his church that was founded by his great-grandfather. He comes from a family of dentists, including his father, brother, and numerous relatives. He and his wife have 3 sons, of which 2 are general dentists. Welcome, Dr. Cohlmia.
Thank you so very much. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you, Dr. Patel.
Congratulations to both of you on your new roles, and thank you for being our special guests this evening. It is an honor for me to share this time with both of you. Thank you again. I have to say, it was really hard to come up with kind of a few questions to ask the both of you. And I went through a lot of them because I know the both of you have so much knowledge. So we're going to roll right into it because I know we've got a lot of content to cover. So tell me, what was it that inspired each of you to become a dentist? Dr. Sabates, we can start with you.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Patel, and Happy New Year, everyone. I'm so happy and honored to be here. To me, it was my father. My father was an oral maxillofacial surgeon, and not long ago, I was looking at those home videos. At that time, it wasn't home videos; it was 16 millimeter videos, and it happens. My childbirth was there, and then right after that is my father doing an oral surgery case. So I was born in Cuba, and my father's office was on the first floor of a 3-story building, and we lived on the 3rd story. So I was basically brought up in a dental office. Now, I did come about dentistry in a kind of a roundabout ways because I became an electrical engineer before I became a dentist. And that has been something that is, I highly recommend engineering to anyone who goes into the dental field because it creates a thought process that's very similar to what we do in dentistry and helps kind of organize our treatment plans and things of this nature. So my father was my inspiration to become a dentist.
I love that. And same for me. I actually am blessed and thankful enough. And I know Dr. Cohlmia, we've talked about this, but I get to work with my dad too every day, which is such a blessing, which is great. So tell me, what is it that inspired you, Dr. Cohlmia, to become a dentist?
Well, I'm the same thing. My dad was very instrumental in my life, obviously a father, and a dentist. And he had the incredible ability to make people feel like that he had waited his entire life for you to come and see him. So he's a very gifted individual that taught me the importance of what it means to be a professional, advancing the arts and sciences to all people everywhere. And that was just very instrumental in my life. I actually was accepted both medical and dental school and couldn't make a decision, one, on which way to go, thought about what should I do. And my father was very instrumental in helping me make that decision about controlling outcomes and being a part of patients' lives and being instrumental that you could see generations. As a matter of fact, he'd see 3 generations. And right before I left private practice, I did see my 3rd generation patient in my practice, which was very honorable. I just loved having that. So he was instrumental in creating the ambiance to me and the understanding of what it means to take care of our fellow people, that the neighbors and everybody that we serve. That was really critical. So he was instrumental in me becoming a dentist, and I thank God every day and thank him for every day for everything that he has done for me and given us so much. And just not me, my 2 sons, as you heard, and then my last son was just accepted to dental school this last year. So I'm excited about that. So thank you.
That's awesome. And I love those stories. And, I'll share a little tidbit for me. My father obviously came from India with my mother for school. And so, I was the eldest. I am the only dentist. And I will tell you that the most fulfilling part of everything we do that he passed on to me is paying our many blessings forward. Mm-hmm. So thank God that we are able to do that and that we are in a position to do that. So thank you, the both of you, for that. Dr. Sabates, congratulations on your new position, of course, as president of the American Dental Association. Super exciting. I was in Vegas when all of that happened. I loved Florida's Hail Cesar tribute to you. That was so great to see. Can you tell us more about your passion to serve as a leader in organized dentistry?
Dr. Patel, that's really not about leadership, but more about service. And that's what my career has always been about. And somehow I've been blessed and to hold several leadership positions, and this new role that I have is I can't even describe it. It's just incredible to be able to lead our profession into the future, to get to work with so many talented team members at the ADA and so many wonderful members that make up the ADA. So it's a dream come true, but it's not so much about leadership, but about service to the profession. That's what I'm all about.
Love it. And Dr. Cohlmia, congratulations on your new role as Executive Director of the American Dental Association. But before we found out more about your new role, can you tell us what led to your decision to accept a faculty position at the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry following 26 years in private practice? What was most rewarding about all of that, being dean?
Well, I actually, when I graduated in 1988, was 50% faculty at that time. So I've always remained as a faculty member throughout my entire career. But when opportunities came forward, and Dr. Young, who was a previous dean, who inspired me and was very instrumental that said that, we need some help at the school. What are your thoughts on this? And so when I started looking at that and thinking about, what my gifts and talents are, that I thought, why, I've been very blessed in private practice. Maybe my opportunities, I need to steer towards the education to understand more about the education and the challenges that face them. And I will tell you something, I learned so much as dean. I never realized everything that happens on the inside. So my respect for education has now just fivefold than what it was even 10, 15 years ago. And as dean, I think the most rewarding thing that I had was, there's nothing more magical to see the lights in a student's eyes when they catch what they're doing, when they understand it, when they deliver that first restoration and that patient gets out of the chair and smiles and thank you, or they get a patient out of pain and they say, that's what makes it all worth it, to change people's lives. And to see the light and the joy in their eyes is something that I will never, ever forget, for one, and encourage everybody in the dental profession, if you're practicing, to go at least have an opportunity to work with our future colleagues, because that will be inspiring to what you do.
Definitely, definitely. And I can say for sure, for us new dentists, a lot of the work that we get to do with ASDA is just the most fulfilling part
Yes.
of everything we get to do, interfacing with students, residents, and new dentists, and watching, empowering them to succeed, and then watching them pay that kind of forward and work with pre-dentals and then early kind of career dental students is definitely one of the most fulfilling things that we do. So thank you for that. Dr. Sabates, what goals would you like to see accomplished during your year as president of the American Dental Association?
Oh, Dr. Bertel, I have so many goals, and there's such short time to accomplish them all. But I will tell you, my primary goal is for everyone to feel welcome at the American Dental Association. I want them to feel that the American Dental Association is part of their family. And it has been part of my family for all these years. And as you say, pay it forward. I do want to pay it forward. So I want every member, even non-members, to feel welcome at the American Dental Association. I want people to feel that they're not alone in their dental practices, that they have the American Dental Association that's there to have their backs, to help to guide them and to be successful in practice.
Right.
We talk about inside baseball. I'd like to change our business model, the way we do business, so that
Right.
we are ready to provide the services that our members need for the future. And one of my dreams is also to bring about that phone app that we've been talking about for so many years, so that membership will be easy, and that all the information that someone will need will be on their phone. So those are some of the dreams that I have. I have many more, but I don't want to take up all your time with them. But the most important thing is that I want everyone to feel welcome and loved and respected at the American Dental Association.
And that's a great goal. And I know so much about what we talk about these days is about diversity, equity, and inclusiveness, right? And inclusiveness means including everyone, no matter what their background is, or where they come from, or what their prior experience is. And so I love to hear that. And I love that that's kind of where we're going. And it's very important. Dr. Cohlmia, what was it about the executive director position of the ADA that motivated you to follow this new career path? And can you share some of the operational goals that you and your team at the ADA have for this year?
Yeah, when I think back, my father he always said that the best thing is to change people's lives. As many people as you can change people's lives for the better. So I was very happy as dean at the College of Dentistry and having the opportunity to serve so many people. And when this came about, I had to really think hard about this. I thought, wow, I'm given the opportunity to go to the next level, to serve more and more people's lives. And again, as my father said, to change people's lives for the better. So working with, Dr. Sabates, whose vision is to be to take care of people and to be so emotionally towards other people is very inspirational to me, because it fits the values that I do. That's the reason why I said, okay, maybe this is where I need to be as we approach the future, as an opportunity to change more people's lives. My operational goals for the year are threefold. First of all, is increased membership. I'm not going to lie about that. Membership is a critical thing. I'm going to do that by being one-on-one with the executive directors of all our constituents across the nation. And one of my blessings is that I know the majority of the deans across the nation, and I understand what they're doing. So I want to bridge the gap between academia and organized industry and create a stronger bond relationship between that and Dr. West at the American Dental Education Association. My next thing, of course, is governance changes. Dr. Sabates spoke of a business model. I'm going to create more of an efficiency, an agile form of business, which is what we're all kind of merging our operations and our operations to, as an agile form of business that puts the customer and the member at the focus of everything we do. And then lastly, he mentioned a phone app. That has been a big, strong vision of the entire American Dental Association, and I will lead this project. And we're going to be releasing this app hopefully in the very near future and getting this thing done. We're going to be moving forward at 90 miles an hour in order to provide the many products and services that the American Dental Association has to offer through that, basically that app. That is that one common link that seems to stretch from one generation to the next generation. So those are some of my operational goals.
That's great. And yeah, it's interesting that you say that. One of the big things that I get asked by dentists at every point of their career, kind of all around the country, is, what do we say to the average kind of dues paying member when they ask, what is the ADA doing for me? For, people that like myself and the both of you and so many of the people that are watching live with us today, we're very blessed that we're very dialed in and we're kind of in the know and we're all part of leadership. But there's the majority of our membership is made of kind of the average dues paying dentist that pays their dues every year because it's the right thing to do and they feel like they're part of a greater purpose or a greater good. But to communicate the message of what we're doing for them is very important when you're not the first one getting the email or the first one getting the phone call. So I think an app and kind of making sure we're dialed in with being relevant and relatable is really important. So I'm really glad for that. Thank you. What has been, I guess, what has the past 2 years been like for each of you with the pandemic? And was there a positive takeaway you'd like to share? Dr. Sabates, let's start with you.
The past few years have been extremely challenging, and we've lost a lot of friends during these last 2 years, and it kind of opens your eyes to a lot of things. And for me, family has always been extremely important to me. So I've actually even gotten even closer to my family. You mentioned I have a new grandson, and that's just the love of my life. Has changed my life. But many dentists have gone through some really rough times. And as a member of the Board of Trustees for the past several years, we've been working extremely hard to help provide guidance for our member dentists so that they could get through this. We wanted to make sure that they were not alone. So we have reached out to hundreds of dentists, throughout the country, just to see how they're doing and provide services to them. As a team at the ADA, we were able to provide those PPE loans and the EIDL loans and advocate for our members and regulations and make sure that dentistry is considered an essential health service. So these have been extremely difficult 2 years, but I think what we've learned is that we are all connected, and somehow either by relation or because we're dentists and we're all part of the family and we need each other to support each other. And that's the beauty of the American Dental Association. We can be there for each other during the good times, and we can be there to have good times in meetings like SmileCon or things like that. But when we really need an advocate, the American Dental Association is there for our members. So the takeaway message that I would give to all of you from the pandemic is that we are stronger united. We are stronger as an ADA family. And that, I'm a solo practitioner, and the friends that I have made in the relations that I have made working for the ADA and volunteering my time for the colleges and all of the things that I do has enriched my life. And that's probably the advice that I would give everyone to get involved in your profession, to share that passion with everyone that we meet, whether it's our patients or our colleagues. And so the concept of family is what I take out of this pandemic and how important that is to all of us.
I love that. And, before we come to you, Dr. Cohlmia, I will tell you that one of the things I try so hard to impart on students, and especially kind of the newer leaders, is that when you graduate dental school, you sort of lose your people. Everyone scatters and everyone sort of goes to wherever they are. And for me, finding that sense of community and family was so important. And I did, thank God, find it, amongst dental land, which is what we affectionately call the ADA, with such wonderful people that we have, like the both of you and some great people in the Northeast. We've got Maria Maranga here, and we have Maxine Feinberg here, and we have Janice here who's watching. We have so many people that are saying hello to the both of of you, Joe Keneally, who's our Secretary General. Reese is here. Margaret Culata Norton's here. John Osborne's here. And of course, Chris Liang is here, who is immediate past president of the Maryland Dental Association, and has done so much for our new dentists. So we're so appreciative of everyone watching. So same question for you, Dr. Cohlmia. What has it been like?
Well, I would probably have to say the last 2 years running a dental college is probably one of the most difficult 2 years of my life. That was something that amazingly changed. March 16th, everything was fine. On March 23rd, the school was in the process of being shut down completely, which actually occurred. It was very difficult to manage, to make sure the students were taken care of, all the faculty and staff. It also provided opportunities to learn. I mean, we had to figure out how to do things differently, but the last couple of years are certainly some years that I wouldn't want to live again, for one, but what it did do is prepare us for the future. And if I were to talk about the positive side of it, I think with all of our electronic communications and our phones and everything, it's almost what President Sabates said. We still need each other. We still need that face-to-face interaction. We still need that human part of it, which is why dentistry is so successful. I hope we never lose that in dentistry, that one face-to-face interaction. I've been to medical practitioners, and sometimes you don't see the practitioner and you feel like you're lost in the entire process. But when you go to a dental office, so oftentimes than not, you're taken care of by an individual. And that's what my biggest takeaway is. It showed how critical the human interaction is, and that no electronic device communication will ever take the place of that. So those are my takeaways from the COVID years.
Definitely. Thank you for saying that. And it's interesting, that human touch and that experience that you get, and really being able to communicate with your doctor, that is lost so much in this kind of like assembly line mass market way that medicine is going, is honestly one of the most treasured and precious parts of our profession. It's really kind of a testimony to everyone that came before us, and of course all the kind of work that we do, that has all been preserved. And I think when you're kind of a pre-dental student or even a dental student, you don't really realize how precious that is. And it's really when you start getting in the operatory with patients and listening, and like the both of you said, treating generations. I'm seeing the kids of people that my father saw as children, and it's very interesting now to be able to do that. And how important those bonds are that go between generations. And so that I feel is one of the best parts of what we get to do every day. So thank you definitely for that. Dr. Cohlmia, with your most recent experience as dean of a dental school, what do you believe are the top qualities of someone who serves as a dental educator?
Being a dental educator is probably one of the most challenging things than you could ever think of. And I'll tell you, but it shows commitment, perseverance, empathy, compassion, because when a student says, I don't understand, you have to really think about that, and you have to put it in a different format. And if they say, I still don't understand, I mean, it can test you to the very depths. That's why educators are a special breed of people. And I encourage people to consider going to education, because it's one of the most wonderful things. When you talk about the values of life and what you receive from life, money, of course, is always one thing, but there's nothing like a legacy. Each one of you all that are watching, and the many people throughout the profession, you can name the most instrumental people of your life, and they were your instructors from years ago when you were in college, and you'll never forget them and the values that they imposed upon them. And that's what it means to be a dental educator. So when you look at that, the top qualities are sharing what you have, is everything that you're focused on is their success. And it's not just while they're in college, it's when they graduate. Many of our students continue to talk to our faculty all the time. I used many of my faculty, and it was very inspirational to me, even as dean, to have so many of my mentor faculty still there teaching. And I remember when the last one came in, and Dr. Courier, I loved it when he said, it's time for me. And it made my heart stop. I was like, wow, that's the last of our original group that had created our school, because our school is relatively young. So when you look at a dental educator, they have so many of those different values, but the ability to inspire, to lead people's lives, and to be a critical factor for everything that they do from now on. I encourage people to go into education. It's wonderful. It's one of the greatest decisions I ever made. Challenging, but tough, but one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. That's what we're looking for in faculty, is that commitment, that empathy, that compassion, that love, to the profession and the students that they serve.
I love that. I love that so much. And thank you for saying that. And I know, we've got people watching us from the Philippines. We have people watching us from all over the country. And I know that message really resonates. And what I really hope for all of you, especially the people that are watching that maybe have not had as much exposure to dental students like Dr. Cohlmia and Dr. Sabates has had, and to a very small degree to what I've had, is I got to tell you, being able to interact with them is one of the most kind of fulfilling things about what we do. And like I said, passing off this amazing gift that we've given is really quite amazing. This is something that's very important to me. I really believe that where we are right now is an interesting place. We walk the path that the people that came before us have paved, and we pave it and we protect it so that the people that are coming behind us have a path to walk on. And so, kind of in the spirit of that, what words of wisdom would you like to share with new graduates coming out into the dental world, Dr. Sabates, and then we'll come to you, Dr. Cohlmia.
Wow, there's so many things that I would tell them. First, I want to tell you that I've had the privilege of participating in a lot of ASDA events, and I'm so impressed by the students. Their leadership ability is incredible, and hopefully that they will continue on. As you say, that when you leave dental school, you kind of lose track of some of your friends. I encourage them to continue those bonds and continue working with their profession. As dentists, we're so blessed because we can touch so many lives, and we take that for granted. And what I would tell a new dentist, first of all, to be involved in their professional association, to become members of the American Dental Association, but not only become a member, to get involved. There's always something to get involved. It's something they can do. We need to hear your voices, and the profession is going to be in your hands. And we've done what we have done, and now it's your turn to take over and to lead. And so I'm totally inspired by the young leaders we have coming up at the American Dental Association. They inspire me each and every day. And so I ask the younger members to get involved, but to also realize that the power that they have within them to change another human being's life by simply sharing a smile, not even talking about taking them out of pain. That's something that most people can't do, but we have that ability within our hands. But we also have the ability to change the lives of our patients each and every day. They may come in and they have all these kind of problems, and just by a smile or a kind word that we may give them, we can change their lives. So I encourage you to go out and change another person's life and make their lives better. And that's what that's the advice that I would tell any young person. As a matter of fact, it's an advice I'd tell anyone. We have the ability to change other people's lives, to change their mood, to change their outlook. And, we have that power as a dentist, and we take that for granted, and we shouldn't.
Thank you. And Dr. Cohlmia, what words of wisdom do you have to share?
My father, as you know, has been very instrumental, and he taught me something many years ago about when you're a profession, it's focusing the arts and sciences to all people everywhere. And when you focus on that, so my primary words of wisdom would be exactly that. You have two goals in life. You have a primary goal and you have an ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal is to make a living for your family, for your future. And your primary goal is to take care of your patients in the best fashion possible. The secret is, if you focus on your primary goal, you will never have to worry about your ultimate goal. It'll always be taken care of. And that's what it means to be a professional. It's not just about higher education, self-governance, but when we talk about advancing those arts and sciences and putting the forefront of everything that we do on the patient, then that's exactly what it does for you. It transfers from a primary to an ultimate goal. And if you keep your focus on your goal, he used to always tell me, he's like, obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off your goal. And if we focus on taking care of the patients, and that's one thing that we talk about, that I say as an association, one of the things that I spoke to the board and so many people on was, let's focus on our similarities, which actually parallels with President Sabates, is that we all tend to sometimes use our dissimilarities and things that we don't agree upon, which is 3 or 4% of it. But when we look at 90% of what we do, it's focusing on the patient and improving their lives. Then all of a sudden our differences become very, very little. So my words of wisdom is to keep focus on the patient, to maintain that, and everything will fall in place in your life if you focus on doing that. Again, obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off your goal, and your goal should be the patience is exactly what it is. So that's my words of wisdom as you approach the future. And I think it fits with, again, the professional alignment of what we're trying to accomplish to make everybody's lives better.
Definitely. Thank you both for that. Definitely resonates so much. Thank you. And, kind of on the same vein of all of those things, we talk so much about safeguarding the future of our profession and making sure that we have this pipeline to leadership so that everything that we work so hard for, kind of there's some continuity to it. So Dr. Liang from Maryland is asking, what do we do to get the people on the fringe to join, let alone get involved? How do we go about doing that better, kind of especially at the local level where I know the initial touch points are with people?
I can tell you, I mean, this membership and getting people involved it's very personal, and it's something that each of us is responsible for. So we all have friends and colleagues that are not members or they don't attend the local meetings, but invite them to come, even pay for their dinner that night. Let them experience the camaraderie that we have. I learned everything about practice management through those monthly meetings we had at our local dental association. I acquired great mentors that have helped guide my life, and I'm eternally grateful for them. But the problem is, if you don't experience that, then you don't know. And so we each need to reach out and touch someone. I guess somebody used that line before, but we really need to do that and bring them to our meetings and let them share the experiences that we have and the good times as well as the challenging times, so that we can learn from each other. And I think that if we do that and we each of us take on that mission to bring someone new into the dental association or bring them into our dental family, I think we'd be much better off.
Definitely. Dr. Cohlmia?
In dovetailing in with President Sabates, you're right. Membership is two-phase. It's one, getting to know people. It's relating to them face to face. And it's also an understanding of everything that we're doing at the American Dental Association behind the scenes to support them, to empower them as professionals. I mean, it's the critical thing. There's so many things happening, and we have such a host of products and services and things to improve, one, your practice so you can focus on the patient, so you can be the best practitioner possible to provide the best services, as we talked about, focusing on that primary and ultimate goal. The American Dental Association is not just an association. It's a partner with your practice. It's a partner with your life. It's a partner with the profession. It's a partner to help us to work through all the issues that are challenges that are facing us together as a group. So when you look at what President Sabates says about engagement of face-to-face, it's a double-pronged edge, because we have that side of it, and then we also have all the things that the association is doing for you, again, to ensure your success. So I hope that people understand that. One of the things that we do is, if we develop the app, is that they can become more aware of those services. And that app's also going to have connection points and ways to reach out to people, much like the Facebook and the social media apps. So we're going to have a lot in order to bring more people together to face the future. So that's what I'm excited about. That's what our game plan is.
I love that. And, we've talked before about staying relevant and relatable as kind of a way to make sure that people are able to get our message, and like I said, I'm super dialed in. I have been pretty much since I finished. It was just kind of something that I did because my dad did it, and I was lucky in that way. But I know that there's a lot of people that aren't, and making sure that the message about everything that we do and how important membership is, and quite honestly, all of the efforts in Washington, preserving the voice of our profession in Washington, and ADPAC being, quite frankly, one of the strongest healthcare lobbies down there, is something that I feel like the average dentist doesn't really know the importance of. And so communicating that and helping understand that there's a reason that our profession is protected, and that comes from support in Washington and support for the ADA as a whole, I think is really important. And I'm hopeful that the students and residents and new dentists and the pre-dents continue to see kind of the importance of that as things continue forward. I guess my last question to you has to do with messaging, and what do we, and again, I've been able to have some great conversations with the both of you about this. What do we think we can do in terms of messaging and getting the message out maybe a little bit better to everyone that asks and has questions and doesn't know? How do we do that?
That's a great question, Dr. Patel, and that's something that we've been working on. And one of the things that we recently did was to hire an employee, maybe Dr. Cohlmia can talk about this, that's going to be doing with social media. And so a lot of people are communicating via social media, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, or all of these things that I'm really not familiar. If you see me dancing on TikTok, this is going to be it'll be quite a show, but I don't think I'm ready for that yet, but you never know.
We'll get one at SmileCon in Houston.
If it's to get the message out about the American Dental Association and the things that we do for our members, I'll be on TikTok. But
Love it.
we do need to connect where people are, and people are communicating differently. And people are coming from different ethnic backgrounds. They're coming from different parts of the country, and we have to be able to connect with each other. And as Dr. Cohlmia mentioned, our similarities are so much more than our differences, and we need to work on those, but we need to find the solution of how we can communicate all of the things that the American Dental Association does. I'll tell you, I was a trustee for 4 years, and when I became president-elect, I learned even so much more of what was going on at the American Dental Association. I said, how come I didn't know this as a trustee? And I know that the general, dues paying members don't really know all of the things that we do, but there's always someone working on our behalf at the American Dental Association. And that's the beauty of being a member of the American Dental Association. Someone's always has your back. They're always working for us, but we don't communicate that well, and we're going to do better. And Dr. Cohlmia is going to help us do that.
And how are you going to help us do that, Dr. Cohlmia? Can you
one of the things I've been focusing, Dr. Patel, is identifying the communications channels and using electronic and technology advancements to better support that. Everybody has their own way to engage their communication. My belief is that once we get that capture point, then we've got to be able to focus more on that. So how do we do that? The app that we're working to develop and other communication channels such as that focuses on the best way that an individual wants to communicate and reach out to us. So it's not just, it's the social media channels, but remember, we have multiple generations. We're going from Gen X, Y, Z to plural, to millennials, to baby boomers, to traditional generations. And their mode of communications and the way they work is completely varied. We've got to make sure we cover all those channels. So it's not just about the social media side, it's covering every aspect in order to make sure the members pick the media format that they want to use and that we provide the content on that particular channel. It's a daunting task, but I think we're up to the challenge. And as we face the future, I'm very excited about what the opportunities are. I cannot wait to see what tomorrow is. One of my favorite statements is that I love to look at the future because that's where I'm going to spend the rest of my life. We can talk about what's happened, the windshield, the rearview mirror. Well, what's approaching us is a lot more important. So when we look at it from that point of view, we have got to create these communication channels in a successful format that work with each individual. Will it be artificial intelligence? Was it communication processes, electronic communications, or written format? There's going to be multiple avenues for everybody to engage the American Dental Association and communicate with us the way they want to do that. I'm excited about the future. So thank you so much for the opportunity to even say something like that to the group we're talking to.
That's great. And, I know that this message and all of this excitement about the future resonates so much with the people that are watching us. Dr. Lemo says, thank you. James Lee from, of course, my neck of the woods from the Northeast. And there's so many people that are watching us from around the country and of course around the world that are all similarly super excited about the future of dentistry and of course the future of our profession and the organization with the both of you. I want to thank the both of you for being our special guests. Personally, I want to thank the both of you as well. I am very excited to work with you and help to secure the future of this wonderful profession that we are so blessed to be a part of, and to hopefully see the both of you in person soon. I know SmileCon in Houston, we are all, fingers crossed, very excited for in October. So if people that are watching haven't registered, please register. We're very excited, and ICD will be there, and Dr. Sabates and Dr. Cohlmia will be there. Dr. Margot Culata Norton says wonderful program. She's very, very happy and very excited. If anyone has any further questions, please note that although this is streaming live right now, it is archived on our Facebook page, and you can always leave a question in the comment section, and we will make sure that it gets to Dr. Cohlmia or to Dr. Sabates. I know we covered a lot of ground in our very short amount of time. Again, thank you so much to the both of you, and please stay safe and be well to both you and your families. Look for upcoming 2022 interview dates to be posted on our USA section website soon by visiting usa-icd.org. Remember, you hover on the events tab at the top and click. There is a drop-down link, and that is where all of the archives of all of our interviews that we've been doing pretty much for almost 20 continuous months. I can't believe it's been so long through this pandemic. That's where they all are, and you get to interact and interface with leaders from around the country and in fact around the world, which we're very proud of. And again, live recordings are all posted there. Thank you so much for both joining us, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Dr. Patel.
Thank you. Thank you.